Hello everyone, I am Jaydeep from the National University of Singapore and today I am going to present our work on three-phase matrix-based isolated AC-DC converter for battery energy storage system. I will run through a brief introduction, then talk about the topology and modulation, discuss the design and loss modeling aspects, simulation results, experimental prototype, and then some experimental results. After that, I'll be giving you a brief conclusion. So, coming to the introduction, the battery energy systems of today are quite an economically viable energy storage option, and it is used for a variety of applications ranging from energy storage for grid connected applications and for V2G applications and electric vehicles, as you can see in a beautiful picture here. Now, conventionally, the three-phase isolated AC/DC conversion topology is being used, which has two conversion stages, but it suffers from low conversion efficiency, low power density, and low reliability. Matrix-based single-stage AC/DC conversion strategies have been proposed which can overcome these drawbacks. Now, these three-phase matrix-based isolated AC/DC conversion topologies are of two types, the DAB type approach and the non-DAB type approach. Now, the non-DAB type approach involves additional switches for for the leakage energy management. However, the DAB approach do not need such a thing as the modulation can be made to circulate the leakage energy quite well. And this makes the DAB approach a more efficient conversion strategy with a simpler modulation scheme. Now, in this paper, we'll be discussing the DAB approach, which is not being studied well in the literature. What modulation strategy is effective for a 415 volt line to line connected converter for such battery energy storage applications, and we will discuss the loss modeling so that we can have a good comparison with the other three-phase AC/DC conversion strategies. So coming to the topology, you can see that there is a 3 cross 1 matrix converter at the front end and a conventional H bridge at the back end. The switches S1 to S6 are 4 quadrant switches which convert the three-phase AC to medium frequency AC. Um, so the isolation MFT in the middle has this leakage inductor integrated into it for a better power density and provides medium frequency isolation and also the required voltage step down. The secondary side edge bridge is a conventional one which converts the medium frequency AC to DC and also ensures that a control sinusoidal pulse width modulation scheme is implemented. And there is also a interbridge phase shift which can be controlled between them to facilitate the required power transfer. Now LABC and the CABC are the uh, AC side LC filter and the CDC constitutes the DC side filter. So the front-end matrix converter can produce a two-level voltage waveform at the primary side of the transformer, and in each TS by 3, that is one third of switching frequency, it just chops one of the line-to-line voltages, that is A to AB, VAB voltage is just chopped positive and negative in the first TS by 3 half cycle and respectively the others. Now the H-bridge produces a three-level waveform at the secondary side with controllable duty cycles and phase shifts. So the duty cycles in each TS by 3 period are different. That is, for the first TS by 3 period, you have a ratio of the AB line sequence line to line voltage and VDC, whereas it switches to VBC and VDC, and then in the third uh, one third of the cycle, the ratio is between VCA and VDC. So these duty cycles would be different in each one third of the cycle, and the phase shift can be calculated according to the power requirement, where delta T denotes the shift between the midpoints of the primary and secondary voltage pulses. Now things will be more clear with this diagram here, where you can see that in each one third of the switching cycles, the ratio of the pulse width on the secondary side is different based on the ratio of um, the switched line to line voltage and the uh, the VDC. Okay, now you can also see the voltage across the inductor, that is the leakage inductor, and the current through it, which gives a better understanding of the working of the modulation scheme. And this IL is nothing but 1 upon 2 pi FSLS, that is the switching frequency leakage inductance, which gives the impedance and into the voltage across the inductor. Now the average power transfer through the concerned AC-DC converter can be derived here by integrating the power transfer in all the three phases uh, uh, over a line frequency cycle. So mm, this D basically shows the effective duty cycle, and there are 6 operating modes within each third of the switching frequency cycle. The back-end side H-bridges switching sequence is observed to be the same for each third of the switching cycle period. Now, I would like to show the modes of operation for the first one third of the switching frequency cycle, and the rest of the two one thirds are almost the same, so I would not discuss it for brevity. So you can see that in the primary side, in all the 6 of the modulation modes, only 2 of the lines are being switched. So we have only the VAB voltage being switched on the positive side and negative side respectively, so that we can have a volt second balance at the transformer. Now on the secondary side, it is the same sequence of switching that would happen for all the one thirds of the period, just that their durations will change so that the desired duty cycle can be achieved as a ratio of the DC side voltage and the line to line voltage that is being switched. Now coming to the design and loss modeling, the AC-DC converter has 3 main components, that is the semiconductor devices, transformer, and the filters. Now the MOSFET switching losses can be calculated by looking at the switching energies over the number of switchings that are happening basically due to the switching frequency, and the number of times the switching is happening within one switching cycle, and it should be summed up for the number of devices that we have. Also, the conduction losses can be found in a similar manner by summing up the I square RDS losses. The total semiconductor losses in the converter can be found out by summing up the conduction and switching losses both for the front end and back end devices. The transformer's course selection has to be found out by using this relation, where the power transfer should not make the flux density go beyond its peak value and should not lead to saturation. So from there we can derive the number of turns that are required for the primary, and based on the step down we can get the number of turns required for the secondary. Now these are the loss calculations that we have for the winding. These are DCs basically, uh, the DC resistance for winding X, that is winding 1 is the primary and 2 is the secondary. Similarly, F and G represents proximity and skin effects. N is the number of turns for that certain winding, and then the current through it. Similarly, the core losses can be calculated based on the frequency, flux density, the duty cycle, and the volume of the core. And this K is a factor which is calculated based on the Steinmetz parameters. Now, for 20 kilohertz switching frequency, a nanocrystalline core material is being used, and the total losses in the transformer can be found out by summing of the losses in the core and the winding. The filters are being designed so that we can keep the ripple cut down at you know 1/10 of the switching frequency, and then similarly the inductor losses are calculated using the core loss and winding loss as shown here, and the losses in the film capacitors can be found out by summing of the dielectric loss and Joule loss. Now the filter losses can be summed up both on the AC and DC side to get the total filter losses, and the efficiency can be found out by subtracting the total losses from the power transfer that is being impinged on the AC side. Now, in the design guidelines, two important things to note is that the SiC MOSFET's blocking voltage and current should not exceed 70%, and the maximum hotspot temperature should be restricted to less than 60% of the Curie temperature, and leads wire should be chosen for a better form factor. Here are some of the simulation results. So the simulation parameters for the 2 kilowatt converter shown here. The AC side voltages and currents can be seen here along with the DC side voltage and current, and the THD is quite good, which is within the grid code, and a 0.97 power factor is obtained. Here is also a zoomed out view of the VP, VS, VL and IL, and here there is a zoomed in view of the same so that you can see if the modulation is working properly, and it is the same as we did theoretically. Also, the voltage ripple on the DC side is very low at 0.5% with a even with a low filter capacitance of 110 microfarad. And looking at the efficiency curves, we can see that for the proposed converter here, it can go up to a high efficiency of 96.5%, whereas for the non-DAB type thing, we would have a highest efficiency of 94%, near about 70% of the load, and then it would dip a little bit below to 93.8% due to the increased DC inductive filters conduction losses. Whereas for the conventional two-stage conversion, the efficiency is just over 90% at full load, and this is because of the increased losses in both the stages, and all the parameters are kept constant for all these three strategies. So this is the experimental prototype that we have for this DAB type converter, and these are some, the experimental results which are kept consistent at 2 kilowatt with the simulation parameters, and there is an impressive efficiency of 96.2% with a TSD of 4.1%, all these at full load, and then a power density of 2.45 kilowatt per liter. And the MOSFET has a short circuit protection of its own, and also the controller is programmed so that all the switching signals can be latched in case of a protection requirement. So this is the full load results with the IAC's THD at 4.1%. We have shown only the one phase voltages and currents, and these are the VP and VS, primary and secondary voltages at the primary. Similarly, primary and secondary voltages for the MFT, and similarly here we have the uh, half load experimental results at 1 kilowatt, and even here there's a good THD that we are seeing. So coming to the conclusions, three-phase DAB based matrix based AC-DC converter for the smart grid related BES integration is being shown, and it is shown that this DAB approach is more efficient compared to the non-DAB type and of course the conventional two-stage type conversion strategy. The computed efficiency for the full load condition is achieved around 96.5% compared to the 93.8% of the non-DAB type and just over 90% of the conventional two-stage approach. The simulation results for a 2 kilowatt dual active bridge type three-phase matrix VCC converter is shown along with 2 kilowatt experimentation, and the prototype's performance shows a low THD of 4.1% and remarkable efficiency of 96.2% with a power density of 2.45 kilowatt. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to discuss.